All right, guys, we got a very special guest today. This guy went from zero to basically $3 million a month within 1 year. So if there's anybody that you want to learn when it comes to growing a massive agency, growing a team, getting a bunch of heavy hitters with you, becoming a heavy hitter yourself, this is the call you want to listen to. This guy's going to absolutely blow everybody away. Absolutely insane. We got Jordan Lowry. He's going to be doing the first half of the call, doing the interview. We got Dave Whichard, who's absolutely crushing it. Okay, everyone's basically following his lead, and he's basically becoming an unstoppable force. You know, he's got God on his side. It's and he's a big believer in helping others, and he's a big believer in doing God's work and doing what he needs to do to win, and whatever it takes to help other people. It's not about him, and he's just following the lead set by Sean Mike. So this company is absolutely incredible. The people here are incredible. The environment here is incredible. And so this is going to be an amazing interview, and I'm so excited to share this with you guys. I hope you guys are excited to watch this. So without further ado, let's get it going.
Dude, I love it. All right, cool. So let's kick this thing off. Obviously, today is Sunday, May 23rd. This is the FFL Growth webinar call, FFL Massive Growth. And obviously, it's open to anybody. And that's my favorite thing about Family First Life is, obviously, I get to work with Alex. We get to work directly. But Dave, you and I, we've never directly made money with each other, but we've always been, I can remember times where you would meet with my recruits, I would meet with your recruits, we would bounce ideas off each other. And so guys, if you're just getting started right now, you don't need to only talk to people on your team. Okay. You need to find resources, people that you, the goal in business isn't to do business with everyone. Okay. The goal in business is to do business with people who believe what you believe. Okay. Let me say that again. The goal in business is to do business with people who believe what you believe. And I can tell you that Sean, Dave, Alex, me, everyone on our team, what we believe is this is the most simple business in America to make money. This is the most efficient business model where you can come in with no capital, go collect a check from $100 a month from Miss Betty, influx $1,000 of cash into your insurance business and use it to create an actual business. So I'm excited for our special guest, Dave Whichard. This is a Q&A type. He is the fastest ever. Okay. If you don't have a notepad, if your grandson's in the room and he's 6 years old, doesn't have a notepad, go get him the iPad. Put it on voice memo because you're not going to want to miss this, okay? Fastest ever to 1 million, fastest ever to 2 million, and fastest ever to 3 million a month, FFL velocity. And he's super humble, and we're going to get to hear from him. Dave, let me ask you this, dude. Does it get kind of like, as much as we talk you up sometimes, does it get a little funny being you? Does it get a little awkward me promoting you like that? You're just a normal guy.
I just take it as a huge responsibility. I think if Sean's promoting us and giving us that platform, I don't think he's going to do it with every single person that comes down the pipe. You know what I mean? Obviously he's going to promote the people that deserve it. He's going to promote the people he knows that are continually working hard and that are consistent. So I think knowing me and knowing my DNA, I think that's why, probably does some of that. And of course it helps everyone. So I tell my wife, just like in, the integrity thing, like, Jordan, and you've been around me enough to know my heart, but like people watching this may not believe this, but the truth is, look, my life is fine. Look, dude, like I don't have this massive house or anything like that. I don't drive different cars, nothing like that. Obviously we want those things, but the reason I do this is not those things. I want my wife to be okay with if something ever happened to me and I died, and my kids, and that matters to me. So I haven't got to that place financially at this point in my life where I know I could die tomorrow. And now I have life insurance. That'll help a lot, but it's not, the kind that can leave a legacy like I'd want it to. But it's really about showing people that it can be done, showing it can be done in a certain amount of time, a lesser time. And so like the integrity thing, getting it done in less than 2 years is huge for not only for Family First Life, but it's also huge for integrity in my mind, because then it's just like, hey, look, you can come here and do this. Now, so I don't know if that answers your question. I could get into it like, yeah, does it make me? Yeah, I just think it gives me a lot of responsibility. So I got to have the shoulder. You got to be able to, I'm okay. You know what I mean? I got to pray hard. yeah, and I've got to talk to my wife and make sure I stay grounded where I am and understand that anyone can do this. Jordan, I can remember you and I sitting down in Florida. I mean, like you talked about, we were with one of my recruits, right? And we were talking, just having breakfast, you and I, and I just
6 a.m. breakfast.
That's right. And we had worked out. Matter of fact, I was in the gym at 4:15. Jordan rolled in at 4:30. I mean, he was there. I'm just saying, like he was there. He was the only guy there that day, what I remember. And so, you guys got great leaders. I know that, Jordan and Alex. I remember you reaching out, like you said, and talk about, here's the thing. I think we're all family, right? We're all family. And I think, Jordan, I've got a whole group of some folks coming up next week to do podcast. They're not one of them, I've got another group coming the day before that. A few of those work with us, but I think we have to view it as a family. Whether, I say it at the end of the podcast I do, I don't know if I was the first one to do it, but it was funny. Andrew asked me on the end of a podcast one time. It was back in like November. And he goes, "Hey, what's your phone number?" Right. You remember that? And then he started doing it over and over again. Again, I don't know if I was the first, but I remember asking him, "Why did you do that?" He goes, "I just want to see if it worked," or something like that. And so we started doing that. And I really, truly believe that. Like Mike Curry's in my office, for example. And I'm like, he works with Grady, right? I'm like, "Hey, dude, what's your number? How do they get a hold of you?" Truly, here's the thing. Some people may not like me. They may not like you. They may not. I mean, I'm just saying we want them to win, dude. Like, whether they want to work with Alex or you, who I don't care. They're going to end up here somewhere. I'd rather end up with FFL than somewhere else. So anyway, that's just me going out from my heart, brother. I hope that answers your question.
And that's why. So to hit on that, guys, if you haven't found your FFL family yet, if you haven't found your FFL brother and sister yet, or your FFL blood brother, you got to find them. You got to create them. You got to be the person you'd want to follow. Can you talk about how a new agent or a new agency should set expectations with maybe a spouse or a mom or a dad or a brother or sister or a girlfriend, and what that looks like, and not why they need to do it, but because we all know what the reward could be, but more about the actual lines and things that are said and how you approached it as well.
Yeah, I think we came from, we were beat down a little bit. My wife knew that we needed a change in my case. I know she believed in me because I ask her sometimes, "You believe this happened?" I don't think either one of us really believe it would happen like this. And we're grateful for it. But I think you got to have that conversation. So in my case with my wife, it was like, "Hey, I'm going to get out of balance for 2 years. And if there's not going to be any balance, like there just isn't." And once I commit, so I think the other thing too, you got to have I'm just saying, you got to have the balls to say it. I'm just saying you do, because here you can talk to your wife about it, but if you ain't willing to back it up, that's not going to be good either. So I think you got to do that. If it's a girlfriend, same thing. Guys, I'm gonna tell you what, you have girlfriends, you might lose them. I mean, you just might, and that's okay. Because here's the thing, they want these nice things, but then they're not willing to sacrifice some time to let you do it. So make sure you have those conversations and paint that vision, but back it up. If you're going to tell them you're going to go do it, then go do it. Right. And then you got to have I think, if you're on Jordan's team, for example, you got to go Jordan and say, "Look, dude, this is what I told her. This is what I told him. This is what I told her, whatever. And I need you to hold me accountable." Now, we're adults here. I'm not saying that, but I mean, I think sometimes just telling somebody you're going to do something, and especially publicly like that,
like anything,
will
like
hold
if
you
you
accountable.
speak it, yeah, it's like your words. Like it's if you speak it, it will happen. If Sean says we're going to 50 million a week, we're going to 50 million. If Sean, and when we will go to $200 million a month.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of time, right? $1 billion. So so basically you're saying, hey, let me ask you this, Dave, what on average, because I didn't know you, in 2015 through 2018, what time on average would you say that you woke up?
So it was probably 5:30.
And what time
I
are you at now?
always got up early. I get up between 4 and 4:15 pretty much every day. My alarm goes off at 4. Well, it's not an alarm. It's just I have a noisemaker. It goes off and I usually just wake up. I have the alarm as a backup at 4:10, I think, just in case I sleep through it. Because I'm just, I mean, we do get tired. Especially if I go to bed. I was in bed at like 12:30 last night. So I mean,
let's not bullshit. Let's not bullshit. I see you working harder than everybody. You're out. You're working up later. You're up earlier. You said to me 3 weeks ago. You said, can you talk about this? You said it was a decision I made the night before that I was going to get up. Remember that? You were on 27 hours up straight. I think, you had been on 6 flights. Tell me, just talk to these guys a little bit about that.
I think you got to make the decision. And so I think it's like, for me, I got to lay my stuff out. Like, so I don't like to get up, and I have it, have that routine of getting out of the bed. You talk about early bird, drink that. That's funny, right? And then just having the stuff ready, because I can get bogged down just like anybody. Try not to look at, I hate the word try, but don't look at my email. Get to work, wherever it's in a gym or downstairs in my basement or whatever, and have that. But just have it ready. It's ready. So you've mentally made the decision that you're going to get up at XYZ time. And if your clothes are laid out, your supplements, whatever, your routine, okay, is ready for you, you're going to do it. But if you go to bed kind of late, it's kind of lackadaisical, maybe, I'm just saying, maybe you had a drink or two more you shouldn't have done or whatever, you can still get up, dude. I mean, I'm not preach to you. I mean, have one if you want, but if you still set that alarm and you set the expectation in your head that you're going to do it, you're going to do it. I think if I tell you I'm going to do something, I'll do it. So it's kind of that same mentality. I tell myself I'm going to do it, then I'm going to do it. And plus, here's the thing, Jordan, another responsibility. We chose to do that. Like, we backed it up. I heard Sean, he challenged me, and then he actually spoke this vision. He's like, hey, man, I tell you, you keep doing that, it's going to change some people's lives. And Grady was on our call the other day, and it was last week, and there was all these people, and he's like, hey, who hadn't done this because of they get up early? And they all raise their hand. I was like, dude, I mean, that just blows me away, dude. Like, I mean, because here's the thing. If you're able to get up, if you guys have kids and able to spend a little extra time with your kids, you're able to pray if that's what you want to do, or you just make more money because you get up 1 hour earlier, dude. That does my heart well. So everything's intentional. And I think that it helps me. I mean, I do it for me ultimately, but to have that intentionality to help other people, I think matters too. But I just set it out, man. It gets me up.
And can we talk about a dial day? So because I know that it's easy when you first get started to be like, well, it's Sunday, I'm going to work tomorrow. And then you show up on Monday and you don't have enough leads. And now you're scrambling at 7:30 to get some leads. And then by 8, you're looking for your script. And then by 8:10, you're looking for your dial tracker. And so just like you said, laying out your clothes, laying out your supplements. What did a Sunday look like for Dave? And what advice would you give to these agents to, properly have their leads ready? Do you have it in an Excel sheet? Do you have it printed? How would you go about, if you were giving us just one way to properly structure, to dial the phone, what would that look like Sunday night before Monday?
Well, I think you got to have your leads ordered, obviously. If you're using the CRM, you can get them, whenever. I mean, obviously you could get them that next morning, but I wouldn't wait till the next morning. So I would print them out and have them ready. I always like to have mine printed out. So I have an assistant. So I would have them print them out, have them ready, lay it on my desk. If I was ordering, something like say on Friday that could be printed, I would have that ready, you go ahead and have them ready for me. And I would just have a stack of leads. I'd have we'd laid out my calendar. I use the 3-prong calendar. I don't even know what you call it, but it was just simple for me. And I used the dial tracker, and I had all 3 of those things laying on my desk. I wanted to be in there. I wanted to be dialing, not in there by 7:30, but actually on the phone. So I'm ADD. So, I think Jordan is too, right? So, I mean, I think a lot of guys are, they just don't admit it, right? So I think, because your brain works. So by having those structures in place for a guy like me is huge. Otherwise, I'm scrambling around, grabbing this, grabbing that. Where's this? Throwing my hat across the room, throwing my phone through the window. I mean, I'll lose my mind. So I have to be structured in order to be proficient. And so that mattered to me. So and then again, it's mental preparation. You already know, hey, I'm going to be at the office at this time. And I did that, Jordan. I mean, every single Monday and Thursday to this day, I still jump on my phone half the time just out of habit. Oh, there's a Zoom going on. And I'm not checking on my team. It's just, I miss them. Number one. Number two, I kind of want to see who's on there from just whatever. But it became a habit. And once you create those good habits, just like getting up in the morning or whatever, it's going to change your life. And the business, it will change your business if you do that every single Monday, Thursday. If you're on there at 8:30, it's just, you're losing an hour, guys. Come on.
And you're losing $100,000 a year.
Yeah, a lot.
Because 7:30 to 8:30 is insane.
People are booking 4, 5, 6 appointments sometimes that time. Run your figures on that. You're right. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's true. So, so on the phone by 7:30, right? In the Wolf of Wall Street, they say our guys aren't dialing the phone at 8 because our clients are already picking up the phone. Right? They're dialing at 7:58, 7:59, right? Because we want, so 7:28, 7:29. And I truly believe like once you get good at this, you can book your 16 appointments from 7:30 to 11:30 if you're prepared. Can you say, so I know that a lot of our agencies are between 30 grand to about 100 grand a month, and a few don't have staff. Would you say that when you have your assistant, right? What does it do for your mind when you have a staff or a team or an assistant to have things prepared for you on your desk, or get your flights booked, or recruit? Like, how does that make you feel about yourself? How it boosts production? Like, is there any way that someone would lose money by getting a staff?
No.
Never.
See, because here's the thing, it's going to make you more money. So when I hired Aaron on March 15th of 2020, it sounds crazy. He took care of the carriers for me. He did things like that, printed us out. Here's the thing. I heard Sean say early on, again, that don't miss a call with him ever. Just saying, ever.
Ever. He called me this morning at 5 on Sunday, and I was like, "What's up, coach? What's going on, coach?"
There you
He's
go.
like, "You
there
awake?"
you go.
I'm like, "Oh, I'm grinding, baby. Let's go."
Yeah, just remember everything's intentional. Just remember that. So there's a reason I got that call before too, dude. On a Sunday, so I know how that works, man. And I talked to him today as well, so it's kind of cool. But yeah. So I think if it's not making you money, then have someone else do it, right? I use an example of I used to, like, I cut my grass? Of course I could cut my grass, but why would I do it when I can go make $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 in the same period of time it takes me to cut the grass, pay somebody $50 or 60 and make their family okay, give them 100, whatever. So same thing with you should be dialed. Who calls the carriers? That's silly. That's a waste of your time. Who prints stuff out? That's a waste of your time. Have them do that stuff I hate to freaking do. So you guys had Eric on the call last week. Love the guy. See, when Eric and I got started, all the crap that I hate to do, he did 90% of it. Thank you, Eric, for that. And all I did was go freaking sell a bunch of insurance, and he got through the rest of the stuff. So it worked for us. Doesn't work like that for everyone, right? But it did because of the way we did it. But yeah, I think you get somebody else to do it, definitely. Because if you're paying $500 a week, dude, you can make that in a freaking second in a house. So just sell one more policy a week, and you're good, man.
I remember when I was traveling a lot, because when I got started, I lived in Texas, but I ran in Arizona, Nevada, and California. And I drove, right? It was 14, 15, 16 hours. And I remember asking Sean, and I was like, "Hey man, my budget's tight. Should I stay at this hotel or this hotel?" Basically, right? And he was like, "Have some respect for yourself. By staying in the nicer hotel, you're going to recruit better people. You're going to feel better about yourself." And that's the same thing with staff. So guys, the way that you feel when you take care, like that your sales take care of your staff's family, your staff's kids, your staff's bills, there's no better feeling, not from a ego standpoint, but from a humbling standpoint. You work a lot harder when Aaron spent an hour and a half getting you leads, printing your leads, getting them on your desk, and you show up at 7:30 and all you have to do is get there. So I hope that flips the switch for a lot of you guys, because it's 2 sales a month. It's 2 sales a month for you to recruit better, feel better, and make more money. So if you don't want to do that, you should quit now and go join a different company and get a 50. My old one, preferably, so I can, but gosh, dude, I know, like in October, let me give you guys some perspective. In October, we were doing 700 grand. I had 1 staff. Fast forward to April. Now we have 5 staff and we're doing 2 million. The only thing that changed was staff and work spots, staff and offices. It gave our staff. So I hope for you guys new on here, you go all in on yourself. You bet on yourself, because it's just money and it's not yours. It's the business's. My last question for you, Dave, is structuring the business. Okay. So new people coming in, let's say a 25-year-old kid, they only have 1 bank account. They have no savings, no credit card, no anything. It's their bank account, right? That's how I was. What would be your couple tips of advice for how to structure your money, where it should go, and what that should look like?
Well, I'll definitely get a separate account. I mean, it doesn't have to be you can name your business, whatever. I mean, just have an account, right? Going in there. So you have the carriers pay that account. In my case, I was incorporated, so that's what I did, and I had to go into that account. I'm not a person that, tells you to get in debt, but here's the thing. If you have a credit card and have the ability to get one, I think it's a good thing to have for sure. I have them. And again, if it's creating income and building a business, then, Sean will tell you the same thing. It's like, that's not I mean, to create a small amount of debt that you can pay off in a quick period of time, there's nothing wrong with that. You're just moving money, whatever. So I think you should do that. It allows you some access to get some leads easier, things like that as your money's coming in. Bottom line is, right, 30, 40K a month, you're never gonna have an issue anyway. It just makes it more expedient sometimes to use it. But I would certainly have a separate account for sure. Don't overthink the other stuff, but we are adults. So once you do hire somebody, do W-2 and get that squared away, and that'll happen. But if you have questions, obviously ask Jordan, that kind of thing, or whoever, has done that before. But don't overthink it. Just get an account and ask him to help you. I mean, I think we ask those stupid questions. I don't know. I don't have the answer why I hired one to do it. So again, hire an accountant because I don't want to deal with numbers. Let him figure it out. Tell him what you want to do. And so I think, guys, you just have to invest back. I mean, it's not your money. And Eric,
Love that.
I mean,
it's not your money.
I mean, Jordan. Yeah, I look at it's not my money anyway. It's God's money, right? But at the same time, when it's our business, so if we bring in X amount, so I'll just be totally transparent with you because it's out there and Sean said it, right? My bonus was 80 grand last month. Yes, $80,000. You're like, whoa, that's good. Here's the thing. Let me tell you something. On Thursday, the day before, true fact, I had $8,600 in my account. I will show it to you. The month before, we had, I think it was like $137,000, $140,000 on my account. What you think about that? Now, I did open the Charlotte office, so I did spend a lot of money investing in that, which is a one-time expense, right? All this money. But I mean, dude, like, it's not yours. I mean, think about it. It's 8,600. I was like, ooh, when's that bonus coming? No, but then it came in, it was 8,600, 8,700 was in my account, just like that. So, I just keep doing it, man. It works, right? I think it's in the book that I read that if you do enough good things come back. You do that, enough seeds over here, comes to you. So it's just that way. So you see the shirt says nobody cares, work harder. So the answer to most questions is just work really hard and ask great questions and go work hard again.
I love you, brother. I love you so much,
Love
man.
you too.
I could just sit here and talk all day, so that's why I have to stop.
Me too. I could too.
Peraza, go ahead and knock out your 10 minutes of 15 minutes of questions with him. I'm going to mute out and take some notes on you guys, okay?
Sounds good.
Thanks, brother. Love you, man.
Love you too, bro. So basically, guys, everybody on this call right now, before we go into that, everyone drop a 777 in the comments if Dave is dropping bombs, right?
And go get work spots. Everyone who go download work spots right now. Take 30 seconds, go on your app store, download work spots. I saved $1,900 yesterday in leads that I bought for 2 different agents.
Everybody download it right now.
So right now, don't drop 777. Go download work spots and then text me that you downloaded work spots, and I'm going to do a random drawing contest for one of the winners. Okay. So if after you download work spots, text me and Alex privately, and I'm going to do a random cash drawing giveaway today, Sunday. Riyadh, you can get in too because you trained this week. All right, brother? And but hey, Alex, let's get into some P's and Q's of things that our agents can say today and say tomorrow and make money by Thursday. Okay? Nuts and bolts, short and concise.
Absolutely.
DeAndre, you qualify too.
Absolutely. So everybody, you heard that. You can message us on Facebook or text us, and we'll do a drawing. So basically, as far as growing an agency from 0 to 1 million in 1 year, because that's really that's the hardest part, is getting your first million, right? After that, it's a lot easier. So before I go with that, I just want to ask you, so what drives you? Like, what's the reason that you want to grow quickly and you want to build this thing quickly? And that's what we want to know.
Wow. Well, that's a great question, Alex. My heart's always been to serve people. It has. I mean, I wanted to make a good living for my family, that type of thing. Now I think the vision's become bigger. I mean, understanding that the amount of money that we can bring into our family or business, that type of thing. I don't hesitate. I love, the Dream Center and Pastor Matthew. It's funny. Here's the thing I'm gonna say about something I prayed with as a little kid. I was younger. My grandfather passed away, so I'm the 3rd generation of David E. Whichard. And I haven't shared this publicly, so I'll share it right now with you guys. But my goal was to have in a home, like in Roanoke, and I may do it here too, but to have a place where kids could come, people could come off the streets, people could be better people, all this thing. I didn't know I was going to call it David E. Whichard, whatever. But isn't it funny that the one place I probably donate more money, I mean, I'm just saying I'm able to give, is the Dream Center, which does the same thing at a different level, right? And it just amazes me how God works, right? So ultimately it's to serve him, because I mean, I'm not going to take any of this stuff with me, we want to do the best we can while we're here on earth. I'm not perfect, dude. I'm broken. Like Sean talks about train wreck. I was that, man. Thank goodness for my mom who sat in a prayer room and prayed for me. I wouldn't be alive today. So I'm grateful for the opportunity to share and be able to give back anybody I can. And so as long as I live, it's just, giving to my family, loving on them as much as I possibly can, loving on the people like you guys as much as I possibly can. I just want, if I were to die tomorrow, I just want someone to say that, I made a difference. And that's it. I know it sounds crazy and cheesy, but it's the truth. And so the fact that we were able to get a nice lifestyle out of it, that's a blessing also. But ultimately, it's just about changing people's lives and bringing them to God and showing them just through our actions, just being who we are.
Absolutely, man. That's absolutely incredible. It's got actually kind of weird because I actually had a similar goal is to do something like that too, is to create something where people who are, poor or people who are struggling, they can come in and get better, which is exactly what the Dream Center does. So they're definitely a huge blessing, especially here in LA with all the homeless.
And Alex, to be truthful, by having the business of integrity, it just means that we can help more people get there, right? So ultimately growing fast and being relentless about the pursuit of that affects other people's families. So that's ultimately part of that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I saw something with Ryan Stewman. He said he never lets down because if he were to stop, how many families would he not impact, right? If he stopped, right?
Yeah.
So that's amazing, dude. Guys, that's incredible. So that's what drives, Dave Whichard. And I think everybody can, if you want to grow quickly, you have to have that mindset of I want to help other people, right? So when you started in March 2020, that's when everything changed, right? So what would you say changed in that month where you had convention and then you just made a decision that you're just going to grow this thing in March, right?
Yeah, again, I tell a story, but I was at the convention. I was in a room with Jordan and those guys prior to the convention. Right before it started with Andrew. There was like 51. I always say it was 51 in that room, and my name just wasn't on the board. And good, it's not about my name. It's just that being in there and being so competitive, it's like, man, I just made a decision. My name will never not be on that chart again. Did I think I'd be up in the top 3, 4, 5, 6 with some of these awesome guys? Not really. But I thought we'd be in top 20. I thought we'd be, top 15. I don't know. I really didn't know. I still was learning. But Pastor Matthew getting on stage, seeing Sean's heart, I knew I could follow Sean. I believed in his work ethic. I believed who he was, his intensity, all those things. But seeing his heart for what that belief and seeing that and the football coach, from out there in Paradise, all those things just really hit me. But really, that Pastor Matthew situation, it hit my heart. So I knew it was God's stamp on my life. So it was like, hey, you're in the right place, right time. This is what you've been looking for your whole life, and I've prepared you for this. And so I was ready to work as hard as I could until I died. If I died doing it, then I'm gonna give it all I can.
Holy crap, dude! That's intense. That really hits home. It's like I'm gonna die for my purpose, which is to help other people, and that's powerful, and that makes you unstoppable, really. Now, as far as helping other agents, making sure that they have this opportunity to grow, and this is really an incredible opportunity where it's completely life changing. So completely resonate with that. And so let's say we have an agent. Let's say they're at another company, right? And they're not getting the results, and you were at another company, right? And Andrew reached out to you. How did Andrew get show you, and I know you're probably on the fence for a little bit, right? So how did he get you to see the vision here? And then how do you do that? How do you get agents from other companies to come see the vision here and join us here?
Well, so I reached out to him, on LinkedIn. He reached out back. We had a couple conversations. He sent me the information. He was Andrew, man. I asked some questions, and he didn't push the envelope. He realized it was a big decision for me because of the position I was in at that time. Agency owner, had people working with me. It wasn't as easy as to say, let's just do this, right? So 19 years, it's a good bit. And so he gave me my space. I think that I wish it would have happened quicker, but it was the right time. And I think out of, my old CEO, I really respected, he was leaving that other company. So I wanted to, I don't say ride it out, but I wanted to make sure I respected him enough to do it the right way. And I really didn't even come out on social media, which I think that's kind of the way you do nowadays. Was in February, after convention, really. And so that kind of changed things for everybody because, after that, it was like, hey, he's here, this is what I'm doing. I was transparent, put it out there for everywhere. And then, Eric, he was he knew he was one of the two guys over there.
People were watching you.
Yeah. And so I think I look back on it and I say this truthfully, if I wouldn't have went out and wrote 30, 40, 50K a month, whatever, and put those things out there, we would not be where we're at today. That's just the fact, because we were able to get a Todd Hosberger to recognize, hey, that's, I want to be there. And a Ron Miller and some other guys. And Eric and I made an agreement again. It's like, dude, like, you're my buddy. Look, those guys will just put on your team. And that's what we did. Now there's, I think three that contacted me directly later on in the process, like in the, I think July, August, September, that, you know, a couple of them. But truth is, we just did it together. So it was really cool.
Yeah, that's incredible. So you guys balance each other out, right? And so you were out there crushing it, leading the team. And he was out there helping everybody get going. And I mean, I know you weren't as constantly hiring. Maybe you had other people on your team doing that, and also you. But what would you say? How do you get other agents on your team? Because obviously you have not just Hamadi, but you have a lot of agents on your team that are growing massively, and you have like a logo factory, right? I mean, you got like 30 logos or something like that, and that's blowing everybody away. Because it's not how big you get, it's how big can you get everybody else, right? And that's the secret. So how do you get agents selling super fast, getting that 30, 40K mark super quickly, and then getting them to hire fast, getting their logo as quickly as possible?
Well, as far as the hiring process, people ask you, right? So if Alex calls me and says, hey, I'm interested in, hiring, what do I do? We started with Zip. It worked. And so they buy 3 Zip slots from us. We just put it all on the same platform. I've shared that. Let them in, do whatever they need to do. I'm not going to overthink it. And so a lot of times what an agent would do is they get 3 to start with. They would just, and then they would grow it to, 10 or 15 or 20. They'd hire an assistant. They really do it on their own, because the next step would, hey, I'm overwhelmed with this. What should I do? They would get an assistant. So I want to do what you did, Dave. That's what they would say. Like, I want to duplicate what you do. Okay, then write 30, 40K a month, get an assistant. And so they would just duplicate that. And so the ones that grew the fastest and grow do duplicate most of it. And so they just almost did it. It was almost an unintentional thing. It was just, hey, we're going to do it this way. We're going to hire staff. We're going to do this. And then people ask, and this is what we did. And they start somewhere and they just kind of, work through that. So yeah, what was the other part of the question?
How do you get them? Well, how do you get them selling and hiring fast? So like,
okay. Yeah. Gotcha. All right. So selling, I think that, here's one of the things that we did. I was sitting down with Eric Anthony one time and get some background noise. I don't know if that's you or me. Okay, there it goes. But Eric was telling me, hey man, Prosperity, this is kind of when they first started coming out. Like, it takes just a couple days, right? And so we started implementing that, just telling people. Now, I'm not sure everybody did it, but we had a guy recently. His name was Will. He came out, and Will Warren, actually, he had a couple guys with him, and they were just, they went out and wrote 30K, him and 2 other guys. So basically 10K each, roughly, that first week, only on Prosperity. I had another guy come out, Brian Walker, wrote like, I don't know, 3,500 his first week, but it was really just the week, like Thursday, Friday. And then, I had check the following week. So I think, if you think about it as an employer, it usually takes 2 weeks to get your first paycheck a lot of times. So if we can get Prosperity in their hands right away and get them writing, I think we've done a really good job of that. I mean, if we look at our agent count, Sean, we got to figure out is how do we get them writing more, right? I don't want to overthink that, because we continue to grow. The one thing about Sean is he'll say, if you're growing, keep doing it, right? If you don't, then, so we keep growing. So I relentlessly in the pursuit of just getting better and just getting a little bit better in each area. And not changing anything, but maybe 10x and a little bit more, or, adding this, adding that. So I think I would just encourage them to do that. Like, I'm relentless about saying, look, get Prosperity. I don't care if you go insurance, but you got it, whatever they call it now. You got to get in that contracting right away. But the minute you're done with that, I want you to get the Prosperity done, because we can get that in your hands right away, get you some leads. And again, I would get leads in front of them. I heard this recently, and it works. Mike the Potty did it, one of his guys. It was Tim Van Summer, I think. Grant, he was a police officer. And he started dialing age leads and booking appointments for him, and he would pay him so much. And I've heard that. I just never did it. I talk about it, but I think why not? Why not? If Alex is in the field, I'm just using example, Alex, and Joe's brand new. Have him dial some of your appointments, get used to it. If he books one, you pay him. Say, look, I'll pay your lead. I'll pay your first lead bill or whatever. Figure it out. Make it work for you. So there's all kinds of things we can do, to help people get started. But I think getting them on the phone, the faster you do that. I mean, when I talk to Andrew Jordan, you know how it is, right? I'll say, hey, man, you got to be this guy. He says, yeah, okay, great. Is he dialing yet? Oh, but dude, you don't understand. He's really going to, no, but is he dialing and selling yet? Like that's Andrew, right? Every time he doesn't care. So until someone sells their first policy and they start really dialing the phone, that's what you got to do. So.
Gotcha. So the key thing is prosperity and dialing the phone, right? And that's like ruthless. Like you got to dial the phone, because if you don't dial the phone, you're getting nowhere here. You're going to go nowhere. So that's, and then you can get your agents when you're hiring them, have them dial for you, right? And
yeah, well, I was talking to Will too, and I asked him, "You're at 30K. She paid his first month, right?" I said, and 90% was prosperity, and I think he had just gotten AIG and maybe one other one. He goes, "Well, I figured out that once I got AIG, I said I had two carriers. Some people only have one. Like, what was I going to do? Sit home and not make money? But I'm just saying, if there's people on this call and I hurt your feelings, I'm sorry. Just like Jordan said, dude, get over it. But here's the thing. And by the way, on work spots, if you're not on work spots, you probably should quit. Because, dude, it's so, come on. You're saving freaking money. It's going to make more money. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Right? Seriously, come on. You might as well hit yourself. You might as well take a hit and hit yourself across the head, because you're going to save so much money. But anyway, going back to that, I just got off track. What was the last part I was getting to? Oh, Will said, so, that he wrote that 30K, but imagine if he wouldn't. Guys, if you only had one carrier, what would you do? Your family's waiting, but don't overanalyze. Some of you guys are thinking, I got to get this carrier, and I got to get this carrier, and what kind of lead do I buy? Buy a bunch of freaking leads, dial the freaking phone, and go see people. Open up your iPad, run America when you have it, and then whatever America tells you, yay or nay, then move on to the next one. Call out, say, hey, that didn't work. What do I do? Do this. Okay, great, thanks. Do it again, and just keep doing that over and over again, and stop overthinking stuff. Because while you're overthinking stuff, you're costing yourself, your family, and everybody else money.
Boom. Exactly. 1000%. Stop thinking, just start doing. And that's what Sean says about you all the time. He's like, you know what I like about Dave? He doesn't think. He just does. Like, he just goes. So it was a pleasure to have you on the call, dude. We really appreciate you on the call. Everybody's like blown away. I just have one last question before we hop off here. And like you said, it's, all this is to help other people and to help you do God's work, right? And, it's all God's money, like you were saying. I think I also heard that from Dave, what's it called? Dave Ramsey, right? Another Dave. So the last question, though, is as far as hiring like word tracks and stuff, when you hire somebody, and whether they're from another company or you're just hiring somebody in general, and they're kind of on the fence, they're not sure, they don't trust you, or they don't think it's real, right? A lot of people just don't. That's the biggest problem we have, is people don't think it's real because it's so amazing. It's so incredible. So what would you say things that you say to try to hire somebody and also show them that this is the best business ever?
Well, I think the one thing I did from day one, Alex, is I gave comp away. I whatever my comp was, it was. Whatever yours is, it is. But obviously, you know what my comp is now. It's right there in front of it. That's what I love about it's public. There it is right there. You want to know what I'm gonna get paid? There it is. How many other companies do that? Zero. Just saying. So I would give it away. I'd just be transparent with them, dude. I'd say, hey, I'm on this. I'm giving you this. Why? Because it shows that you care. You give them 5%. In my case, I'd give them as much as I can give them. Do I want to give them 140? Probably no. But am I going to probably give them 120, 125, 130? Yeah, it's weird to me to hire them anything, but that's why we stack everybody. We give people away because it is weird. I put somebody out here. I don't know. It's just how it is. So I gave it away. It grew. And I listened to Sean. That's what it is. So I think you'd have that conversation. I say this a lot from stage sometimes when I'm talking at stage, but when we're talking, here's the thing. What you guys got to understand, and you can tell them, and I have no problem telling them this. Look, you guys can think you're going to win where you are, and that's okay. And I hope you do if you don't come here. But let me tell you something and just be clear about this. No one else has one thing, and that's Sean Mike. Period. They don't have him. And when you have the leader that we have, who's going to go down as one of the best leaders ever, I promise you. And you're talking about God, giving back. You can just see it. He doesn't have to talk about it, dude. He gives away. He whether it's tipping somebody more, whether it's doing this, dude. I watch him like, oh my gosh, like I need to have more cash on me. Like seriously, he's doing for other people, want people to win. And when you're following somebody like that who just constantly oozes out of his pores, he just freaking wants you to win. Just go work hard. Trust the system. Trust what's in front of you. We sell life insurance. It's not that deep. You pick up the phone, you dial, and you go see them. And so when I'm talking to that other person, I want to ask what their why is. Why are they in this business? What do they want for their family? And why are they making that change? And if they're ready to work, dude, then you got to tell them the truth. I work hard. This is how I do it. But this is what's happened for me and my family. And if you're not there yet, that's okay. You've got Alex, you've got Jordan, and you've got Grady. And you put them on the phone with them and let them finish it up, okay? But you get them in, it's just like a fishing rod, man.
Wow.
Just keep throwing it out there, whether it's on social media, whether it's in a restaurant, whether it's an Uber driver. I don't care where you are. You should be talking about family first life everywhere you go. Trey talks about that. What is it? Talk to 20 people and find one or two. I don't remember. I hear so many people talk about it, but that I think you have to talk to everyone. You don't know who's going to be the next Andrew Taylor, the Alex, or the next Jordan, or the next Andrew. I mean, you just don't know. Paul McLean, on and on and on. That person could be sitting right in front of you every single day on social media or in a place that you're standing. So use the 5-foot rule, tell everybody FFL, and you're going to win big. That's what I would say.
I'm going to give you guys this one line right here that you can say to recruit.
And by the way, there's a guy that does it all the time. See,
yeah, I do it. I do it all the time. Okay.
I talk to people. I'm like Jordan. I talk to everybody. There you go.
You just say this. I work insanely hard. I'm obsessed with growth. I've never been happier, and I've never had more money.
That's good.
Oh,
So,
man.
I'm gonna jump off, DW, bro. I would
Love you, man. Appreciate
you
y'all.
need anything, bro. You already know.
Thanks, guys. Love y'all. Appreciate it.